Hello everyone, this is P. Mike. Today's video is the last video of our series called Sightings, where we explored people's encounters with the risen Jesus. Now it's been quite a journey, and I thank all of you who have joined me so far. Now for today's video, we're going to start off on a little bit of a serious note because of all that is happening around us these days. All around the nation, people are getting together to protest racism and police brutality. And even in the city of Duluth, where our church is located, there are large-scale protests going on. And amid all this crisis, we cannot help but ask ourselves, what does it take to bring change? Not just temporary change, but permanent change. Now let's look into one of the greatest examples of change in the Bible, which is the story of Paul. Read with me from the book of Acts, chapter 9, verses 3 to 8. As he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" "Who are you, Lord?" Saul asked. "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting," he replied. "Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do." The men traveling with Saul stood there speechless. They heard the sound but did not see anyone. Saul got up from the ground, but when he opened his eyes, he could see nothing. So they led him by the hand into Damascus. Now you may think that after the ascension of Jesus, no one was able to personally meet Jesus because he ascended into heaven. However, there is one person that actually got to meet the risen Jesus after the ascension, and his name was Saul. Now Saul was a Jew, a Pharisee, and overall a person who held a passion for the Word of God. And according to his interpretation of the Word of God, all Christians were bad people. That was why he was actively involved in persecuting people who followed Jesus. And that was also the reason that he was heading toward a town called Damascus. He heard that there were a lot of Christians there, so he was going to go and imprison them with the permission of the high priest of the time. He was basically going to Damascus to hunt down Christians. Now how messed up is that? Now the sad thing was that he thought that it was the right thing to do. Now those of you who know this story will know that later on he became a totally different person. He changed his name to Paul, and he became the front runner of spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ all around the world. So what made him change? How did he turn himself around 180 degrees? Well, he met Jesus. Literally, he met the risen Christ on his way to hunt down Christians. As Saul was nearing Damascus, a sudden light flashes from heaven, and he hears a voice saying, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" And Saul says, "Who are you?" "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting." And then Saul finds himself unable to see. It's only after Saul enters into Damascus and meets a guy named Ananias that he is healed from his blindness and is able to see again. So what happened after he was able to see again? Well, he finally saw that it was not the will of God to persecute Christians. It was only after Saul met the risen Christ that he was able to finally understand the fact that going around and catching Christians was not something that God wanted him to do. Not only that, he was able to rediscover his purpose in his life and commit his life in spreading the good news of Jesus Christ all around the world. Now when we think of current events, we start to understand that there is a need for change. There has been a need for change for a long time, but it does not come easy. It's been centuries since the emancipation of slaves, and decades since the civil rights movement. But our society seems to be unable to move past this mindset of bias and bigotry. It seems that some people are simply unable to understand that the enemy is not the people in the streets, but the arrogance and hate in our own hearts. How do we change the world from that? Just like Paul met Jesus on his way to Damascus, we need to meet Jesus. We all need a little bit more of Jesus. We all need to find Jesus. We need to know and understand what Christ is all about. The love of Christ is not about privilege or self-righteousness or feeling good about yourself. It's about serving others and considering others to be better than yourself. In order for change to come, we need to get back to the love of Christ. And please don't think that all this does not apply to you because you are not black. If we are Christians, we are obliged to stand in solidarity with anyone who is suffering, because that is what Jesus is all about. So with your small group, what I want you to do is kind of discuss what you can do to show support for our Black brothers and sisters and other minorities who are under oppression. It is our duty to show support for them and to love them and help them, because that is what Jesus did for us on the cross. So this is how we're going to wrap up our series for now. I'm sorry that it did not end on much of a positive note, but that is because we are living in difficult times right now. However, I ask you to stay strong and stand up for what Jesus laid down his life for. Now with this video, our small groups for this semester will be over and will be officially resuming in the month of August. So share with your group how this semester was, how you felt about it, what you appreciated about it, what you felt that was a bit lacking. But for the summer months, do continue to communicate with each other and send encouragement and love to each other. And that is it for today. Thanks for joining me this far, and see you in a while. Bye.